Well, the New York Mets just came off one of their most disappointing seasons, just missing the playoffs and choking a lot of games in 2025. Let's take a look at their last 5 seasons. It's obviously been a little bit of a roller coaster, as you can tell. You know, their really last shot at a World Series was definitely 2015 when they lost to the Royals in the World Series. Since then, they've made the postseason only 3 times, 2016, 2022, and 2024. And obviously, 2024, they had a good shot to win it all, but obviously just falling short to that great Dodgers team. We obviously saw how good that team was in 2024 and 2025. But for the Mets, they just did not have it this year, losing out to tiebreakers against the Cincinnati Reds. So definitely an embarrassing year for the Mets organization. But moving into 2026, they are definitely coming back a lot stronger. Let's go over to their contract situation because they have signed a ton of guys. We're just going to start with the new players that they brought in for this season. They obviously signed Bo Bichette with one of the biggest free agents, 3 years, $126 million contract. That was obviously their biggest one and most impactful, 100%. They did sign Devin Williams for 3 years at $51 million. Jorge Polanco to play first base, 2 years, $40 million. Luke Weaver, 2 years, $22 million. And Luis Garcia, 1 year, $7.5 million. And the Mets have also made a ton of trades. You know, obviously the Marcus Semien trade for Brennan Nimmo. And then we had the Luis Robert Jr. trade as well, with the White Sox have obviously made this team pretty solid. So they brought in a ton of new players to this team, and they're already paying a lot of contracts already in 2026. They're obviously paying Juan Soto $51.9 million, which is just crazy to think about. He's getting $51 million for like almost 13 years. I mean, just absolutely insane. Obviously, Francisco Lindor is still here. He's getting paid $31.1 million for the next couple of seasons. We talked about Marcus Semien. He's going to get paid $26 million. Obviously, Bo Bichette's getting paid $42 million for 3 seasons. Sean Manaea is still on that contract he signed last year. He's getting paid $25 million in 2026. Kodai Senga is still on that deal from 2023, and he's getting paid $15 million a year. Obviously, the Devin Williams contract and the Jorge Polanco contract we already covered. Clay Holmes is getting paid $13 million this season with a player option in 2027, so he was definitely a strong pitcher, and we'll see if he comes back in that 2027. And then we already talked about the Luke Weaver contract, and they have a lot of guys as free agents in here, but they're already on their new deals. So if we take a look at what Baseball Reference has the Mets in 2026, it's around $274 million. Definitely be around like 300 to 310, I'm pretty sure. Because if we take a look what the Mets spent in 2025, it was $400 million after all the tax and stuff like that. And they were number 1 in MLB when it came to payroll. Just insane how much money they spent to not make the postseason. And already Sport Tech has the 2026 Mets at $342 million, which is once again first in the Major League Baseball. We'll see if the Mets sign or trade for anyone else. We still got 2 to 3 weeks before the teams go back to spring training, but they are definitely one to make moves and try to make this team as best as possible. So let's move over to the roster situation because it's going to be a completely different team. Let's start with this rotation because it's definitely a brand new rotation. Obviously, they just acquired Freddie Peralta from the Brewers in that recent trade they just made. With Nolan McLean here, once again, one of the rookie prospects, Sean Manaea, Clay Holmes, and Kodai Senga. I think that's going to be the 5, but honestly, they could choose any of these players. But it's definitely going to be a solid rotation for sure. Freddie Peralta is one of the best pitchers in the game for sure. We'll see how McLean, Manaea, and Holmes do. I definitely think they have a solid rotation, 100%. And moving on to this bullpen, it's actually one of my favorite bullpens I think I've seen so far. I'm a really big fan of Devin Williams, Luke Weaver, AJ Minter, and Brooks Rowley. I think those are some solid players. So I definitely like the Mets bullpen. I'm definitely excited to see kind of who they choose for their closer, setup guy, things like that, and kind of see what they have in the bullpen moving forward. So let's go over to the Mets starting 9, starting with the catcher position. Obviously, Francisco Alvarez is going to start at the catcher position. Jorge Polanco is going to play first base on this Mets team. Marcus Semien is going to play second base. Bo Bichette's going to play third base, and then Francisco Lindor is going to play shortstop. Definitely an interesting infield. It kind of sucks that Mark Vientos and Brett Beatty might not have somewhere to play, just kind of with the roster they're cooking up. Unless one of them wants to learn outfield, because this is where the hole is in the outfield. In left field is probably going to be Tyrone Taylor. In center field is going to be Luis Robert Jr. And then right field, obviously Juan Soto. And at the DH position, I would probably put Mark Vientos or Brett Beatty in my personal opinion. I think those are definitely some solid players that really don't have a spot on the Mets lineup right now. So that's kind of my thoughts on this Mets team. Obviously, this is all going to change. These teams use so many lineups every single season. So that's just a rough outline of what I think is going to happen. Now let's move on to the Mets top 100. They just released the 2026 rankings, and the Mets have 4 players in the top 100. Coming at number 6 is going to be Nolan McLean. Now, obviously, he was drafted in 2023 in the 3rd round. And obviously, he played in 2025 and was very good with the New York Mets. Had a 2.06 ERA in 48 innings and played extremely well. And then even if you look at his minor league stats in 2025, also played extremely well at a 2.45 ERA. Just a phenomenal young talent. I'm super excited to see him play a full season at the MLB level for this Mets team. He's also the highest rated pitcher on the new top 100 as as well, which is definitely impressive. So definitely excited to see what he's going to bring to the table in 2026. If it's the same from 2025, he's really going to be a solid piece for the Mets. Now coming at number 16 is going to be Carson Bench. Now he was drafted in 2024 in the first round by the Mets at pick 19. And in 2025, played extremely well for his first season in the minor leagues. Played extremely well at high A, extremely well at double A. In triple A, he definitely had his troubles there. Only batting a 178 at triple A in 24 games. But just looking at his minor league career so far, it is really good to say the least. I think once he gets a full season at that triple A level, man, he's definitely going to be a good talent. I'm definitely excited to see him in spring training and the spring breakout. I really do think he's going to be a phenomenal player. His ETA is 2026 though, so we'll kind of wait and see. They're saying he could start this season. We'll kind of wait and see. I definitely think he's got to develop a little bit more at AAA, but he definitely could be a call-up maybe around the All-Star break or September call-ups, but he's definitely got a bright future ahead of him. Now coming at number 48 on the top 100 is Johan Tong. Pretty sure I'm pronouncing his name right. He was drafted in 2022 in the 7th round by the New York Mets, and my God, did he have a good season in 2025. He starts out in the minor leagues, has a 1.43 ERA in 113 innings. I mean, that is extremely impressive to say the least. I mean, the fact that his ERA was that low in 2025 just shows how good of a talent he's going to be. He gets called up to the New York Mets in 2025, pitches 18.2 innings, has a 7.71 ERA. So obviously not the best. I do think they might have rushed him a little bit, but I do think that's because of injuries and things like that the Mets were dealing with last season. Because in AAA, you know, he pitched 11.2 innings, didn't give up a single run, goes to the major league level, gets kind of destroyed. So definitely you probably want to see him at the AAA level, at least for a little bit in 2026, then get called back up to the roster. That's personally what I would do in my opinion, but his ETA is 2026. We'll kind of wait to see what the Mets do. Like I said, they got like 7 guys in that rotation, so they definitely got to figure it out. But he's definitely another solid pitcher that could be very exciting moving forward. And then coming in at number 97 on the top 100 is AJ Ewing. Now he was drafted in 2023 in the 4th round, and in 2025 he had his best season at the minor league level, batting a 315, which is just incredible. Batting a 400 at the A level, 288 at the high level, and then absolutely destroying it in double A. So he definitely had a solid season, and he's definitely going to be a great talent moving forward. I'm definitely excited to see what he can do in triple A. Obviously, he only played 28 games in double A, so they might stick him back down there for 2026. Like I said, if he's able to prove himself in spring training and the spring breakout, he could probably definitely start at the triple A level, but definitely going to be a solid talent. His ETA is 2027, so he does have a lot of time to develop in the minor leagues, but definitely going to be a fun talent to watch moving forward. So those are the 4 guys the Mets have in the top 100. Very impressive, honestly. Those are some of the best prospects I think we've seen moving forward. When we look at top 100s and things like that, I think all these guys have potential to make the New York Mets team 100%, and I'm definitely excited to see these guys get called up in the future because their future is definitely bright. Now going over my prediction for the 2026 Mets, I definitely think they're going to make the postseason this season. If we follow the trend, you know, that was set in 2022, they made the postseason, had a bad year. 24 made the postseason, 25 had a bad year. 2026, they've invested a lot of money into their players, and they've also got a ton of guys making really good trades. They're definitely going to make the postseason in 2026. Now, I don't know whether that's going to be through division or wild card because the division is pretty competitive this year. I'm not going to lie. I feel like everyone has a chance except for the Nationals. I think the Braves are going to bounce back. I think the Marlins have a super underrated roster, and obviously the Phillies are always good every single season. So the Mets are definitely going to have a decent fight in the National League East. But when it comes to the wild card, I think they should be fine there. They should be able to get over the line. 2025 was an embarrassment for that, to be honest. But I don't think they're going to choke as many games with that new bullpen. I think they're going to have betting pitching starts from their rotation. I think this Mets team is going to be more well-rounded than it was last year, and I'm excited to see how they do moving forward. But that's my thoughts on this New York Mets team. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below, whether if you agree with me or you disagree with me. Would love to hear your thoughts. And then make sure you guys go follow me on all my socials linked down below in the description. Follow me on X for all of our updates. Follow me on Instagram for all of our clips. If you want to talk more MLB or MLB The Show, definitely make sure you guys join the Discord. And then lastly, go check out our merch. I've been updating the site like crazy, adding a ton of improvements to the site and just making it better for you guys. If you want to check out the new site or grab a piece, definitely click on the link in the description. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.